Welcome to Just Wanna Quilt, a research podcast coming out of Tulane University Law School, where we explore all kinds of things, stories about quilting, tools, field trips, maybe some famous quilters stop by, and, of course, a little bit of copyright thrown in just for fun. I'm Dr. Elizabeth Townsend Guard. I'm a law professor, and I just want to quilt. So today we talked to Theresa McFarling. She is super cool. We talked to her about using a song in a quilt. We talked to her about her improv letters, and we talked to her about the Gypsy Wife quilt, which we're going to do as a sew-along starting July 1st, and she's already done it, so we're super psyched about that. We also talked about her goal of winning a blue ribbon at the Iowa State Fair, how she designs patterns, and all kinds of other stuff. Teresa's awesome. I hope you enjoy this. Yeah, so we're preserving this for the Quilt Alliance. So tell me your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Theresa McFarling, and I'm calling from West Des Moines, Iowa.
Awesome. And what's your first memory of someone sewing or quilting in your life?
My mother. I wouldn't take a nap when I was 2, and so she would let me sit there and watch the needle go up and down on her sewing machine.
Sweet. Did you find it soothing? Do you remember it at all?
I did. I do remember it. I remember it was awesome to just watch. Yeah. She didn't let me sew, and she didn't teach me. She was very task driven. And I took sewing in high school, but flunked, and then I didn't start sewing until I was like...
What happened?
So, I don't know, I think my brain gets interceptions sometimes. Yeah. So the teacher was sitting with me at the sewing machine, and it was within the first 2 or 3 weeks of class, and she said, don't hit the foot pedal, because she was futzing with the fabric under the needle.
Yeah.
And I hit the foot pedal, I'm not being mean. All I heard was hit the foot pedal. So I hit the foot pedal. The needle stuck in the bone of her finger.
Oh my gosh. Oh
and
no.
They had to rush her to the emergency room. And of course I'm just sitting there.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm and not going back. Nope, not going back to that class.
Oh my gosh, that's must have been mortifying. And oh my gosh, the teacher, that's so awful.
I sewed the teacher's finger, yep. And she would send people from my class. She would tell people, if you see her, tell her she can come back to class. And they'd be, you can come back to class. I'm like, nope. I can't face her.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
So how did you get to, so I interviewed Shelly, right? Shelly is part of and Shelly, you're part of, you have a new thing you guys are doing, which is Quilt Your Own Adventure. Is that right?
Yes. And I just finished mine we're going to start.
Tell us a little bit about what that is and what the whole thing is, in case people didn't know that one.
Yep. So our first quilt along is starting next week, and it's a Quilt Your Own Adventure silhouette quilt. And we have varying levels of difficulty, varying levels of sizes. So basically teaching people how to piece their own backgrounds or choose a background, choosing colors, whether it's fat quarter friendly, charm pack friendly, layer cake friendly. What's the other one? Those strips. Jelly roll friendly.
Jelly roll, yeah.
Yeah. So mine's scrappy, using scraps. And I did a skyline of New York, and I don't know if you know Fearless Girl, who was in front of the bull for a while. I think she still is, but she's moving.
Yeah. Did you do Fearless
Girl? Yep. I did. So she's standing in front of the buildings. I did the back of her, and I'm going to quilt some detail into her still. But and then downside one of the tall buildings, I quilted in Fearless.
Wow, I love it.
Yeah, so I love it too. I have to keep it somewhere where I can see it every day and remind myself.
Very cool. Will you send us a picture? That'd be really cool. So
I will.
So explain, in case people don't know who Fearless Girl is, who she is.
So earlier this year, in honor of International Women's Day or Month, I think it was Day, they placed a statue of a little girl, maybe 8 or 9, standing in front of the Bull of Wall Street, maybe 20 feet away from him, and she's facing him with not obstinate, but ready to take on the world. So it was in honor of women in the business world, and well, actually anywhere probably, but just represents women coming into their own, breaking glass ceilings,
and there
equal
was
pay.
There was huge controversy over the girl, right? Because people didn't like. It was funny because the bull was sort of public art that was like a thing, but then they were like they didn't like some people didn't like the commentary that it was on the bull. Isn't it the bull that she's facing? Like there was this big brouhaha. Everything's a big brouhaha right now, but it was funny because the girl is so like. She's so confident. She's got doesn't she have her hands on her hips, like confident?
She does.
Like kind of almost like
yep.
superpower.
She has a really. Yep. Her
ponytails?
Stance is really strong. Yeah.
Does she have ponytails? I think.
She does have a ponytail and a dress with boots.
It's great.
So like the combat boot kind of thing.
I love her.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I do too.
You put her on a quilt. That's really great. So of course, I am a copyright professor, so I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
There's copyright in the image itself, right? The sculpture itself. It's in the public. You can take a picture of it because any public art on a street you can do. I know you don't care about this, but I'm going to say anyway, just because I can't help myself, and I'm not in class right now, so I don't have anybody to talk about this with. I usually have my students that have to listen. But what you did was you took it and you made a derivative work. And I think it is your own expression of her, and that it's totally okay. You're not selling it, and even if you were, we'd do another analysis of it. But you were commenting, criticizing. You're doing it your own thing, and it's sort of like fan art, right? That you love her and you put it on your quilt, and we're okay with fan art in our world now. So that's the little copyright part of it. So.
I did see when I was searching for images, and I used just a photograph, but when I was searching for images for Fearless Girl, I did see some prints that were maybe artistic impressions, not actual photographs, but more like a vector kind of stencil-looking images, and I deliberately stayed away from those and really looked at the images. I was in New York. I didn't see Fearless Girl. It was before they replaced her there, but I mean, I was standing right where she was. And,
All right. Okay. So there's one more layer to this then. So it wasn't your photograph. So there's another layer where the person who holds the photograph has a copyright in it. Now, again, it's no worries. There's no worries, but we're just playing. But what's interesting about it is, I don't know if you remember the Hope poster for Obama. That was an AP photograph that a artist used, and the question AP got mad. So again, like it isn't necessarily like there's a number of layers with copyright. Now to do it for your own work, no big deal, right? And now the artist might get upset with the other one, the vector one, because there might be some licensing that could happen. And so, if there is commercial use of it, that artist might want the money from that licensing, or they may not want, like, let's say there was a commercial or somebody was using it in a way they didn't want, the artist didn't want, that's part of the copyright. So you can kind of see where there are some permissible uses, fair uses that nobody cares about. Like, I think it's like they don't matter uses. Like, putting on a quilt really doesn't, who cares, right? And copyright really has a part of a system is like, who cares? Does it matter? No, not at all, right? In fact, you're honoring the artist by putting it on your quilt. So I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think I like that you said that. I wondered too if it matters. So if there is an art print out there that somebody put time and effort into, wouldn't it be more recognizable also than just like a silhouette of a photo?
Yeah,
where they could say that's mine.
For you to use it, sure. That you're using something more recognizable is probably not the best idea. But again, who's going to sue you? That's the question. Who's going to sue you? That's the question. Are you going to get sued? Ouch! Sorry, our kitten just attacked. The question I would have is that the other artist, the artist that made the drawing, are they liable for something? Right. So did they get permission? Are they selling it? All that kind of stuff. So.
I didn't think of that part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're doing a silhouette of it. You're doing your own thing. Whatever. You're not selling it. If you did try to start to sell it, then you probably want to get permission from the artist, right? So let's say you go, I know I'm going to make all these cutout silhouettes so people can put them on their quilt, right? You're like, I can just make a bunch of them. I've already made one. then it gets a little tricky, right? Because you're making a derivative work of the original work, and there's an underlying work there, and so you got to be a little bit more careful. Again, how many are you going to sell? Are you going to sell them to your friends? Not likely anyone's going to care. If you're going to sell 50,000 of them on Etsy, probably. If you're going to send them to China, yeah, really, right? So it's always this kind of level of degree with copyright of like, are you? I mean, I was talking to a major attorney from LA that works with the studios, and she was like, personal use? Yeah, I don't really care about that. I'm like, when do you care about my quilters, right? When do you worry?
Gotcha.
And it's commercial. It's a commercial thing. They're worried about you taking their money, right? So are you taking any money from, what you're doing, taking money from the artist? No.
Right.
Right.
Gotcha.
So that's it.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's good info.
Yeah, right? It's, I think that, like, what I'm hoping to, people keep asking me, like, when am I going to do, like, lessons in copyright? And we'll get there. But I think, like, it's really just, like, if you understand the physics of the system, then you're good, right? It's an economic system. People, and there are certain uses you can use even if there's an economic loss. And most of the time, tiny uses or personal uses, nobody cares about. So, yeah, I like that about it,
So that makes them kind of into the next issue with the lyrics to the song that I'm making into a quilt.
Right.
So I have searched. I was at the quilt retreat in March. It was like a 4-day paradise-driven quilt retreat. Oh my gosh. I've never filmed for 4 days in a row. But
that's really cool.
It was awesome to be around other quilters all the time. Eat, sleep, and breathe quilting. It was awesome.
That's so funny.
So a lady came by because I had all my words up on the wall, kind of putting them together, and she said, we probably shouldn't take a picture of that. Now, she wasn't a board member or anything like that.
Uh-huh.
And I said, what? And she said, well, you don't have permission from the artist to make that quilt or from the lyric writer.
No, I know.
And I mean, it's not something I thought about. So I have been searching for who owns this song.
All right. Well, the first question is, from my point of view, because this is where it gets interesting, is my other life, which is really ridiculous, is about determining the copyright status of work. So the real first question I would be asking is it under copyright or not? So to do that, we need to know, what's it called? We'll take a look.
Oh, One Tin Soldier.
Okay, hold on just a second. I need to find my data. We're just making a database now that is we're in testing, so I got to find the little link to this. This will definitely be cut out because this is the dumbest. This is not good podcasting. I'm just kidding.
You're fine. I think it's very interesting. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Wow, she searched her email. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was so riveting.
Is your little thingy moving like the internet's looking? Yeah, that's good.
All right, hold on just a second. I can't find it. Where did I send it to? So the first question is, do you know when it was created? Do you know what the first publication date of it? That's the question we need to know.
I think it was 69.
Oh, okay. Well, 69.
Let me get my iPad.
Okay. So then we don't need that link.
I took a bunch of screen prints last week, and of course I left them at work.
That's cool. What's it called? One Tin what?
Soldier? One Tin Soldier.
Okay. So first of all, are you nobody's going to care if you put it on a quilt. That's the first question. So I mean, we're going to go back to does it matter? Who cares, right? And hold on, the kitten is trying to kill me again. So nobody cares. Nobody cares. Like, does the person that owns the lyrics care if you put it on a quilt? Like, would you care if you own the song and someone put it on a quilt?
No, I'd be like, make more so people will buy my song again. Right,
exactly. Nobody's going to care. So that's the first thing is I think the first question is who's going to care? Who's going to get upset? Who's going to want to sue you? Suing you means like registering the work, all these other things you have to do. So the question is who owns the lyric? Let's say you're like, look, my quilt is amazing. I want to make millions of these quilts, and I need permission. Then you do, right? You're going to commercially use it. You need permission. So then you have to figure out who's the copyright holder of the lyrics. We don't care about the music. We don't care about the original sound recording because those are different copyrights. So we're looking now for the lyrics. So you have to find, okay, well,